When everybody hates it, we think it's okay. When everybody likes it, we gotta complain. We're quite contrary.
Thank you, and welcome to Quite Contrary, the only show that's mathematically designed to disagree with you. I'm Zach Nanimus.
Johnny did.
Now, Johnny, you said that you wanted to handle the bulk of the intro for some unknown reason.
Yeah, so what I want to do is kind of put in a little disclaimer here. Okay, we're a contrarian review channel. You know, we like to, bring to light some things that, some viewpoints that may not get a lot of, they don't get heard a lot. So we end up saying a lot of bad things about stuff that we actually like, movies that we like, shows that we like. But in this particular case, there's been a lot of salt kind of thrown in that wound because Zach really hates it.
It's so dumb.
And I love it so much. I love this. Probably my favorite movie, other than like Dunkirk of 2017. What? Dunkirk's amazing. You don't like that I put it on par with Dunkirk? Dunkirk is a piece of art.
I hate this movie so much, I wrote a song about it. Well, there have been remakes, and there have been refakes. The Power Rangers were sublime. But have you noticed that when they blow this, they make a film that makes you lose your mind? It may try to catch lightning in a bottle, but over time, that lightning seems to fade. I don't mind just watching older versions, but don't remake just to make the same mistakes. If this is it, please let me know. The structure's trash, the writing is only so-so. If this is it, I wanna know. There's kids and clowns, but otherwise, I just don't know. So what sucks about it? Number one, too many kids.
Okay.
This is gonna seem like high-level Stephen King blasphemy here, but I think there are too many characters in this remake. They should have reduced the number of kids. Now, I know that it's the same number of kids from the original.
The Lucky Seven.
The Lucky Seven. Here's the thing, is that it was a problem in the original too.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about the original or the remake, you have to admit that there are just way too many kids in the movie. The literal clutter of characters in the story leads to confusing relationships in a world that is only half built. They don't take the time necessary to build this world, to flesh out what it is or what's going on, because we have to deal with these vague backgrounds for 7 different main characters, 3 of which are involved in a love triangle. Mm-hmm. It's craziness. The other thing about having that many characters, something that we were talking about, is that they have to scare us too much because they have to scare every single character, and that became exhausting. And when scaring becomes exhausting, it becomes boring. I was able to actually anticipate exactly when and how one of the kids was going to be scared because I knew it was just their turn. Mm-hmm. They're doing something in a semi-public space, then they follow a trail of eerie breadcrumbs, now they're in perfect seclusion, and then a CG monster shows up and scares them. That's it. It happened 7 times. It has to happen 7 times in order for every kid to understand what it is and then bring them together.
Yeah. No, you got a point.
It's monotonous. I equate it, when we got out of the theater, I was like, can we talk about the similarities between this movie and Orange You Glad It Didn't Say Banana?
Yes, I do recall.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Now, Orange You Glad I Didn't Say Banana? Scares are like jokes. They're a premise, a turn, mm-hmm. and a punchline. Mm-hmm. And if you already know the punchline, the joke is ruined.
But what if they're CG bananas and they've got teeth?
If they're CG bananas, put them in the Donkey Kong game where they belong!
That's a good point.
My favorite byproduct of all of this rush storytelling has got to be the character Ben, or as I call him, Kid Exposition. Kid Exposition exists specifically to tell you spooky facts about Derry, because they can't build the world organically because it is chock full of characters that all have to be explained. And as a result, all of his lines come out stilted and rushed. I mean, imagine if The Lord of the Rings had a character and all they did was explain things that would have been better if you had seen them instead of explained. The world has changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the earth. I smell it in the air. Much that was is lost, for none now live that remember it. In the last great age many rings were created, and one such ring was given to Frodo, bravest of the hobbits, and he took it to the hills of Mount Doom.
You bow to no one.
Number 2. Derry really isn't explained. Many rational people consider it to be a good movie all by itself. Some would even say that it towers over most modern movies in the horror genre. Unfortunately, it could have been a little bit better with a little bit more context. Through other media, such as the book or the original miniseries, we learn the true horrific scenario that the kids of Derry are in. We learn the adults in the town are under some type of supernatural influence that keeps them from giving a shit about any horrors that go on in the town. This includes pedophilia, bullying that escalates to near murder, and emotional trauma of various types. When you realize how desperate the situation was for these 7 kids, the gravity of the movie just really, it pulls you down. It becomes a much more heavy movie. The stakes are higher. You realize that they didn't have any other recourse but to actually tackle this monster problem on their own.
The original miniseries, while campy and had its own problems with writing, pacing, special effects, etc., it really did drive home what makes it scary. And what makes it scary is not that it can hurt you.
Right.
It makes you forget.
Right.
They said it over and over in the original miniseries.
Right.
It's an eerie thought. This monster doesn't attack your body or drive you insane. It takes memories from you so that you can't remember this trauma, so that it can continue to hurt others.
Right, yeah, and there's a lot of context that just gets left out, and this is probably the most important. If you've looked at the book before, even just physically looked at it, it's a thick book. There's a lot in there, and I think maybe they just picked and chosen the wrong things to include in this remake.
Well, I don't know, Johnny. Just because it's a major plot point doesn't mean that you have to tell the audience about it. I mean, what do we really gain by learning why Batman fights crime?
I got you, Commissioner.
Batman, thank goodness you were here.
Yes.
You really showed the criminal underground what for. Just, now that you're here, Batman, the boys down at the precinct, they've been dying to know. Why do you do it? Why do you save Gotham City?
Game of Thrones just wrapped up season 7, so I got a lot of free time.
Oh, so not a past trauma or anything like that?
No, just Game of Thrones. That's.
I do model trains myself.
Yeah. Flashbang!
Number 3. The Monster Blood Montage. So, halfway through the movie, we are treated to probably the best scene in the entire film. The character Bev is hanging out in her bathroom when she realizes that she hears the voices of the missing children coming from down her own drain pipe. When she goes to investigate and puts her eye up to the drain, 500 gallons of monster blood shoot up directly into her face and coat the entire room. It is like laminar sheets. Like, it's literally repaints everything.
It's okay. It's more like 3 gallons.
It is not 3 gallons.
Yes, it is.
No, because it's coming from one spot. If you had like an airbrush or like one of those paint pumps, you might use 3 gallons, but it's all coming from right there. It's gushering everywhere.
All right. We'll split the difference. It's about 250.
A good 250.
All
That's
right,
not the difference
fine.
between 503, but here we go.
Math is hard.
All right. So she's coated in blood, cowering in the corner, screaming at the top of her lungs when her father rushes in wondering what's wrong, and we notice he can't see the blood. And now she and the audience are wondering, is this another one of those delusions that it makes for them? So, thinking she might be crazy, she brings all the neighborhood kids over, and they can all see it too. And that's when they have a startling realization that it isn't just toying with them, it's also making the parents delusional. And an eerie thought is posed. Either the parents are delusional or all the kids are crazy.
One of the two.
It's an interesting idea and a chilling moment. Very good cinema. And how do they cash in on all this buildup? An 80s montage! They literally have an 80s montage set to 6 different ways by The Cure where they clean up the monster blood.
Yeah.
That's
Naturally.
That's what they do with this big moment. It's amazing. I was sitting, I don't know why, but there was a 7-year-old in the theater sitting exactly next to me, and he was traumatized by the whole movie. He had his head in his shirt constantly.
We didn't bring him.
No, I was cackling the whole way through. I thought it was so dumb and ridiculous and misplaced.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I know that it's an 80s trope, and maybe they were going for a splat stick sort of thing, but it just didn't work because 80s montages do two things. They compress time, and they also lighten the mood. You get like a pop star to have a hit single, and then you use that. And then with that good faith, you then switch the bait, and then you have a scary moment. This was already a scary moment. They were cleaning up the monster blood, and they were making light of it. They were having fun. They were checking in on their secret crushes, and Richie had a joke or two. You know, it was cute while they were cleaning up the monster blood.
But I mean, in that scene's defense, I mean, the Cure makes everything better, though, right?
Show me how you do that trick. One that makes me want to slap you.
I don't know. It didn't have that effect on me. I thought it was fine. Not my favorite scene, but it was fine. It was the movie. The movie was a roller coaster from the beginning. It was horror, comedy, coming of age, drama, comedy, horror comedy. I mean, that's what it was, and I liked it because it resets everything before you get another horror scare, and it was great.
Right. But nowhere was there tension. This should have been a moment where it became real, where it became concrete. Everything else in the movie could have been explained away, but this was physical. This was visceral, and they shared it for the first time. I don't know. It just makes me wonder, what if other movies cashed in on their big emotional moments with this brand of silliness?
Creator of heaven and earth, have mercy on my soul.
Thank you, everyone. That's our show. We just want to say that at the beginning of the episode, in case you forgot, we did voice, or Jonny voiced, both of our real opinions. This movie is silly. While the original has problems with writing, special effects, etc., I do think that it's actually structured much better. This movie is what I thought it was going to be. It was a basic slasher movie.
I just can't disagree more. I was in love with it when I went to go see. I had seen this one before seeing the original. I'd seen pieces of the original before. Going in blind, not knowing the story or anything, I thought it was fantastic. It was a beautiful piece of cinema. This movie is about not letting fear and grieving ruin your life and run your life. It's about strength in numbers. It's about surrounding yourself with people that care about you in the hardest times of life. And I thought that message was fantastic.
Didn't we learn that in the Care Bears movie?
I don't know, probably.
But otherwise, I just don't know.